Okay. All right. We are live on YouTube, as in my screen shows we are live, but we're going to wait for feedback from YouTube. Folks on chat, if you can see us and hear us all right, if the AV is clear, please just mention on chat so that we can get started. And sorry for the delay. It was my bad. I'm not very proficient technically, so I made a mistake in setting up the session. That's why we got delayed by a few minutes. But we're here, and this promises to be a great session. So just waiting for feedback from YouTube chat, and then we will get started. Okay, I think I can see on my YouTube that we are live. So
yes,
Adit has confirmed. Fantastic. All right, why can't we see you folks right now? Hold on one second.
So in YouTube Live, I think when we speak only will be visible there.
Oh, okay, is it like that? All right.
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully that should work out. All right, great. Thank you so much everyone for joining, and sorry for the delay. We started a few minutes late, but let's get right in. So this is MBA Jam with SCMHRD. So SCMHRD is organizing this session on our YouTube live channel, and they're going to cover very important topics like SNAP strategy. Of course, SNAP is coming up, so I'm sure you're all you're gearing up for SNAP. You're preparing for it. It's a very different exam from CAT. So they'll share some very important strategies for SNAP. All these folks here are SNAP 99 percentilers, right? Last year and maybe the year before that. So these guys are the best people to share those strategies with you. They will also talk about SCMHRD, which is a fantastic institute. So they'll talk about that. And there are some other exciting things like mocks and compendiums and stuff, which these folks will talk about. All right. So have fun. You can put your questions in Q&A and they'll keep answering that. And yeah, over to you folks. Thanks for doing this for us. Over to you, and then I'll see you at the end.
Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor partnering with your institute for this session. So students, the agenda of today's meeting, our presentation is going to be basically helping you guys with whatever doubts you have. So as an aspirant, last year we were in your shoes and we were giving SNAP. There were a lot of questions I had personally in these last 5 to 10 days, right? So we're here to help you with all your questions, all your doubts. So I would like you all to be really interactive in the chat. Ask us any question you have regarding our college, regarding SNAP, regarding individual strategies you want for any particular section, and that's going to be the main theme. Apart from that, we'll be sharing with you what our strategy was to clear SNAP and get 99 percentile, as sir already told you. So hello, I'm Tushar. I'm currently pursuing my MBA in Business Analytics from SCMHRD. And yes, Mehak, over to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mehak Sachdeva. I'm currently pursuing my MBA in Sales and Marketing in SCMHRD Pune. I scored a 99.54 percentile in SNAP last year. And hello to everybody. Over to you, Chidanand.
Good evening, guys. I'm Chidanand Das, currently pursuing my MBA in Infrastructure Development and Management at SCMHRD. Let's keep the session interactive and hope to see more questions in the chat.
Okay, so now that we have all given our introductions, I think we can move a bit over with the PPT. We'll be talking to you as to what strategies that can help you SNAP and what are the important dates that are there. We'll be starting with that first and move on with the session. Don't worry, we'll cover each and everything that is required for you over the next 5 to 10 days. So hold on to the session. Coming to the important dates that we have. So as all of you must know that 9th December is the last day to register for SCMHRD. By now, all of you must have registered for SNAP and have your SNAP exam scheduled on your chosen slots. However, the last day to register for SCMHRD is 9th December, for which you need to register separately. The different courses that you can register for will be listed in the further slides, and we'll be talking about them as well. 10th, 17th, and 22nd December are your 3 SNAP attempts, which are scheduled for the chosen slots that you would have selected. And 10th Jan will be your test result dates. So your scores versus your percentiles will be released on 10th Jan. And whatever will be your best score, your percentile will be awarded basis that, and that will be there on 10th Jan. So it is an important day. On 17th Jan, we give you the shortlist for SCMHRD. So all of you folks who must have gotten the required percentile and score would get a SCMHRD shortlist basis that, and you will be getting that via a mail and also on a portal that will be given to you. Apart from that, the last date, that is the GEPI process for SCMHRD will begin from 27th Jan. We will be talking about that further in our slides as well, as to how the SCMHRD selection process is very different from other colleges, and how the group exercise and personal interaction element is very, very unique for SCMHRD. So yeah, moving on to the next slide. Okay, so this slide is just to show you how SNAP registration would have looked like and how is it different from a SCMHRD registration. By now, you would have gotten over this step and you would have selected the chosen slot and you have your attempt scheduled. However, in the next slide that we see now, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the place where you can register for SCMHRD. So there are 3 courses that you can register. That is MBA core, the course where I belong to. MBA Infrastructure Development and Management, the course from where Chidanand belongs, and MBA Business Analytics, where Tushar belongs. So I think one of the best things that is there about this slide now is that from all the 3 courses, one of us is present. So if you have any doubts related to eligibility or any doubts related to the course stats, the placements, the opportunities, you can ask it right now itself in the chat box and we'll be very happy to answer. So yeah, these are the 3 courses that you can register for. The fee is 1,000 per course. Okay. So Tushar, would you like to take over now?
Yes, thank you so much, Meg. So I'd asked all of you to put in your questions. I can see just one question as of now. The question is, must do topics in quant except for arithmetic. Okay, that's great that you know arithmetic is important. Personally, yes, arithmetic is one of the most important topics to cover in quant. Apart from that, I would tell you that maybe geometry would be a good target, because if you have the basics very strong, for example, your basics in quadrilaterals, triangles, etc., you can definitely expect a question or 2 from geometry, and it will be relatively straightforward. Just a couple of concepts to be applied, and maybe you'll get the answer. So I would suggest geometry is definitely a good topic to be very strong at. Apart from that, PNC might be a very good topic. You might get a few questions from PNC as well. Okay, another question. Can I apply for MBA, BA without work experience? Unfortunately, no, Jitendra. You need at least 24 months of work ex to apply for the BA course. So yes, that's eligibility criteria you need to meet. Okay, so now it's time for us to share our strategy with you. In the meantime, I would like all of you to put in chat how many mocks you've given thus far, and also put in roughly how much score are you getting in those mocks. So it'll be a rough idea for me as to what to expect from you guys and what to advise you guys. So personally, my strongest section in SNAP was the general English section, and it's just a 15-question section, right? And it's very straightforward. The questions are either you either know the answer to a question or you do not know the answer. There's no time to there's no scope to sit and think. If, for example, you have a question from a synonyms or antonyms, you either know the word or you don't know the word. So for me personally, what I used to target is to complete this section in 7 to 8 minutes. That was my target, so that I can save some time for LR. So LR, as you know, there are 25 questions coming from LR and SNAP, and some of these questions, even though they're a bit easy, but it might take you some time to solve these questions. So what I used to do is I used to save some time in the general English section, and the time I used to save here is what I used to use in the LR section. So important topics, I think you must be already aware, since there are just 5 days left to SNAP. Vocabulary and grammar, very important, and your parts of speech are very important, figures of speech. Definitely brush these topics up. And as Jatin sir said at the top of the presentation, we'll be sharing a compendium with you. So in this compendium, we have roughly over 300 synonyms and antonyms all ready for you. We have prepared this ourselves. So if you want, a last-minute study guide, last-minute revision, that's a great document for you. And also we have added some idioms, phrases, some foreign words, some root words, etc. So that's a great way to memorize words, memorize your vocabulary. And yeah, I think your score in general English is basically roughly proportional to how much your vocabulary is, how strong your vocabulary is. So I would definitely recommend you to go through that document and maximize your score in this section. Okay, moving on. Okay, so I'll take up a few questions before I move on to the LR part. Okay, some people are saying 3 mocks so far, 15 mocks, 30 marks average. Okay, 6 mocks, 30 to 40. Great, Rishima. That's good going, good scores. 3 mocks, 36 average. I think you guys are doing pretty well. I like the scores you're getting. So all of you attempting the first SNAP on the 10th of December, or are you guys sitting for the second or third? And which snaps are you giving basically? Since your strategy has to greatly vary depending on which SNAP you will be giving. So personally, I would say that if you have just registered for SNAP 1, you should definitely stop studying for now. All you have to focus on is giving mocks. Maybe you can give 2 mocks a day or maybe 1 mock a day. I personally used to give just 1 mock a day, not more than that. And be very sure to analyze your mocks really well. That is very important, guys. So now, there might be some few topics that you can brush up in this 11th hour, basically. So yeah, if you have some topics you're really bad at, you can definitely brush those topics up and definitely concentrate on giving your mocks well and managing time smartly. Okay, first and third. Okay, I see a lot of people are giving the third attempt. Good. That means you still have a lot of time. Only second. Okay, good.
Okay, I see one question here. It's Miss Kaushik. She's asking how much sectional time does each section of SNAP have? So we have one benefit while we are applying for SNAP, that it's a 60-minute exam and you don't have any sectional time limit. So that plays in your advantage. You can have whatever your strong suit is, and you can play for that first. If you are stronger in English, you can do that first and save time for other sections. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Dana. Rightly said. You can toggle between sections in SNAP, guys. There's no, you have to finish one section and then go to the other section. There's nothing like that. You can just toggle between your sections. Basically, SNAP is all about, personalizing your strategy to the point where you're very sure as to what you're going to do in the coming 1 hour. So you have to give mocks enough that you know at the start of the first hour that what are you going to do in the next coming hour. So personally, what I used to do is, as I said, start with verbal. And then I had very specific topics that I used to target in quants. For example, I was really good at arithmetic, and some topics like algebra was the topic I was weak at. So I knew very well that if there was a question coming from algebra, I would definitely not solve that question in the first round when I'm going through the paper. So be very sure on what you need to attempt, what you don't need to attempt. And that, gives you a very good clarity when you sit for the paper as to how you have to go about it. Okay, Mehak, would you like to share some strategies on the LR section with the students? Guys, Mehak is really good at LR, so you should definitely listen to all the topics and tips that she has to give. Over
I
to you,
don't know
Mehak.
how good I am, but yeah, it was one of my favorite sections, definitely. This was one of those sections which I found the most interesting, and I loved the solving. So some of the tips from my end for Ella section is definitely that, first of all, you need to read the question properly. You should know if for example, in critical reasoning, you should know if the question is asking about strengthening the argument or weakening the argument, because these silly mistakes can cause you one question, and you do not want to lose on marks on something as basic as that, right? So you need to learn to read the question very properly. Then for other concepts like your complements, your set theory, intersections, unions, you should be very aware of that, because that forms a part of syllogisms, right? And syllogisms is something that if you do not know the concept beforehand, you wouldn't be able to solve in the paper. So be thorough with those concepts. If there are any number letter associations, you should be knowing those as well. So for example, what I used to do in my exam was that just when my exam was going to start, like a minute before or so, I used to have that key. Okay, as soon as the paper will start, I'll write A, B, C, T, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 against it. Or, for example, A can be associated with the number 1 or number 26. So, if you know these basic associations, you will be able to get thorough with your coding, decoding questions and sequences and series questions very, very quickly. You save that time, and probably if you save that time there, you can employ it anywhere else in any other further question. So that is something that I used to do. Then apart from that, there's a lot of different types of questions in critical reasoning, like your cause and effect, your statement argument, your assumption conclusion, right? So just understand what the question is asking and what specific type of words the question is using. So for example, if there's a cause and effect question, you know that words like because, since, therefore can indicate that there's a cause and effect relationship. So learn to identify those words, because that makes it very easy to solve the question. One of the last thing is that, for example, there are topics like clocks and calendar. So, for example, clocks, if you do not know the formula for finding the angle of a clock, or finding the minute hand and the hour position of the minute hand and the hour end of the clock, you wouldn't be able to solve the question. This is a concept that you should know. Similarly, for calendars itself, there's a concept of leap years, there's a concept of 0 days. So, if you do not know these concepts beforehand, you wouldn't be able to solve the question. And the paper is not one of those areas where you actually think about the question. It's about the application of the concept. So you be thorough with these concepts, because this you have in your hand, that you can be thorough with these concepts and then apply it in the exam. Next slide. And these are some of the tips that I had for my logical reasoning section. Some tips for quant that I would like to give you as well was that so for example, somebody here mentioned that arithmetic is one of the areas that you should focus on, and similarly Tushar also focused on that you need to have topics like algebra and geometry also in place. But apart from that, you should be very thorough with some other topics that are sometimes neglected, like PNC. So be very thorough with probability as well, because these are some of those areas which can fetch you marks very quickly. Probability has usually one of those questions which are very easily solvable and very quickly solvable, which can save a lot of time for you. And one important thing that personally worked for me in quantitative ability was using the mark for review option. So what I used to do was that obviously there is SNAP is an exam. Every entrance exam has some roadblocks, right? That there are some of the questions which you are not supposed to solve. So you need to identify those questions. And what I used to do was that I used to see that okay, in the 20 questions, maybe I'll find the first 10 doable questions. I'll mark for review those questions and I'll just see those questions first. And then I'll solve them as quickly as possible and then move on to the other. There might be some possible roadblocks that you see in the question, and you need to not attempt those in the first attempt itself. Once you're completely done with the paper and then you think, okay, maybe there's a minute or two left, then you might return to those questions. However, first you need to do this doable and settle once definite. These are some of my tips for points. Tushar or Chidaran, would you like to add something to that?
Yes, thank you, Meg. So I'll just take up a few questions first up. So there's one person asking us what is the order of attempting the sections. So there is no particular order that you need to follow while attempting sections basically. That is, as I said, it's highly personalized. So for me, it was first VA, then quants, and then LR towards the end. Because as I said, LR is relatively easy. As Mehak said, some of the important topics like coding, decoding, blood relations, direction sense is another important topic that if you haven't done yet, it's something you should definitely do, because the questions coming from these sections are relatively straightforward. And also one important tip is that, arrangements is a topic that SNAP loves, but there'll be no questions in which there'll be no questions in which there'll be two cases forming. So even if there's a question coming from arrangements, you might get two questions based on one arrangement, and it'll be very straightforward. It won't take much of your time. So one important strategy that I think Chidanand told me before, that he used to do this in his SNAP, he used to go through his paper in rounds basically. So what he used to do is first attempt all the questions that he definitely knows he can solve easily and quickly, and then mark the other ones for review, as Mehak said, and then come back to them. So that's a very good strategy, guys, because SNAP is all about time saving, and in addition to that, not like making yourself feel calm, because as I told you, I used to do verbal first and then quants, because I see one of the questions, like someone is saying that they're only solving 4 questions in SNAP. So I personally, I used to always get around 7 to 8 questions in quants. I wasn't the best at quants, so I used to not take that to heart. I knew that is all I'm targeting in quants. And then I used to do LR, because LR is the section I think I used to get more questions. I used to solve more questions in. So don't get bogged down if you're not able to solve too many questions in a particular section. It just means that is not your strong suit. You will have another section that is your strong suit. And SNAP is all about, playing to your strengths and, hiding your weaknesses as far as you can.
Yeah, just adding on to what Tushar just said, one of our members, it's Jitendra, who wants to know about the sectional cutoff of SNAP. So yes, there is no sectional cutoff as such. So you should play with your strength and go forward with whatever suits you, and do all the questions which are easy for you and where you can have the maximum accuracy. Again, we have another question from Rishima. So score and percentile cutoff for SCMHRD in general MBA. So as such, we do not have any cutoffs, but anywhere if you score anywhere around 98 percentile, that's a safe score to get into SCMHRD. I'll take a few more questions.
Yeah.
So Mihir wants to know that I'm stuck at around 30 marks and it's not improving. What is the way forward for improvement? So yeah, you should take more mocks and try to analyze where you are lacking, what strategy you should follow, and what is working for you. And I think you have time for that, and you should follow that, and you need to know what is working for you.
Yeah, so I'd like to, I think, add more to this one, as to how to increase your mock marks. This is not just for me, but for anybody here. So while you're analyzing your mocks, you need to understand if this less score that you're having in your mocks is due to which of the following reasons. It can be due to a knowledge gap. Identify the gap, okay? So it can be due to the knowledge gap. So for example, the paper is asking some of the topics that you have not prepared for or you do not know. In that case, you definitely need to work on your concepts. It can be due to an attempt gap as well. So a lot of times due to just for the accuracy, people are not attempting enough number of questions. And see guys, you need to understand this, that if you're not attempting enough, you're not giving chances for your score to increase enough. So for example, just an example, that if a person is attempting just 38 or 40 questions, but you want to anyway score anywhere between 40 or 41 marks as your personal target, you wouldn't be able to achieve that target because you're not attempting much. You need to definitely increase your attempts. Identify that gap as well. And apart from that, if you think that you get stressed or you get tensed or nervous and there's an issue coming with that, that is affecting your scores, so identify that. So a lot of times what happens is that we do not give the marks very seriously, or we think that okay, we'll get up in between and we'll go to the washroom and we'll do this or we'll do that. So start attempting the mocks with seriousness, and maybe then your scores can increase, your mindset will change, and that will definitely impact your scores.
Yes, thank you, Meg. So I see a question from Janvi asking that how many questions should we focus on quant? So Janvi, could you just tell me which is the strongest section? So that depends on if quant is the strongest section, I would definitely recommend you to attempt anywhere between 15 to 18 questions, because that's where you have to score your marks from, right? So as Meg said, personally, my target used to be anywhere between 45 to 50 good attempts. So by good attempts, I mean questions I know that are definitely right. And then, as we had said, using options to eliminate some of the choices, you can narrow down to maybe one or two choices and then have an intelligent guess between those two. So this is also something I consider in good attempts. And then when you're attempting the question, as you know, there's a 0.25 negative marking per wrong answer that you give. So yes, you have to have anywhere between 85 to 90% of accuracy in your answers in order to make sure that you score really well. Okay, so I see Harshi asking that, could you please share some tips on do's and don'ts for the exam day? So I think from a day before the exam, you should stop giving mocks. Don't stress yourself out on the last 2 days before the exam. Just calm down, revise all you know. And I think on these days, you should just focus on your strengths, basically. This is what I did. I really went hard on what my strengths were in quant. I just exercised all my arithmetic, my time and work, my time, speed, distance, and things like that. And don't learn anything new in the last 2 days, because what happens is maybe if you're learning something new, it might put your confidence down a bit. And confidence is something that is very important on your exam day. That is something that will put you in good stead to score very good in SNAP. So just relax, revise all you know very well. Just be very perfect at that. And then maybe the right director that we're giving you that has all the formulas from various different sections. So just go through the formulas, revise them, and have a calm head on the exam day and sleep well. That's one very important tip. I think you should sleep for at least 8 hours before your exam day, and that will really make sure that you are at your best when you're giving a paper.
Okay, we have one question from Nitin. I'm a civil engineer with 3 years of work ex, and how good is infrastructure development management course in SCMHRD? So yeah, we have a lot of companies coming through in our way, and we are one of the most famous companies, Hilti, and we have a long association with PMI. So if you still want to pursue project management, we get a lot of chances to get these courses through. So yeah, you have a great opportunity here. Over to you, Tushar.
Thank you, Chetan. I think now that we've shared plenty of tips on how to ace SNAP, we have a nice mini SNAP mock put out for you. It's a 10-minute mock. It has got no negative marking. You have to definitely attempt all the questions, and we have exciting prizes and vouchers to give out to the top 2 winners of this quiz. So guys, I would encourage all of you to scan the QR code and start attempting the quiz right now. I'll start the timer in just 1 minute, because one important thing is that, as I told you, we'll be giving out the ready reckoner to all the participants of this session. So how will we give it out? It will be basis the email ID you provide by scanning this QR code. So that's all the more reason to attend the quiz. We'll have your email ID, and within the next 24 hours, we'll be sending you the ready reckoner out. And make sure to go through it thoroughly, guys. The ready reckoner is really important with respect to SNAP. And yes, another question I saw is that, is there any way to get the 2021 paper of SNAP? So guys, as SNAP toppers of last year, as you know, SNAP does not release its paper, right? The official paper is never out. So we remember a few questions that we faced during our SNAP, and in the ready reckoner, we have 2 mocks based on SNAP. And while making these mocks, we have taken care to incorporate the questions that we faced during our SNAP, and that gives you a flavor of what you can expect in the paper. Obviously, that's not you should not follow it as a holy grail, because the SNAP paper keeps changing from year to year, right? But yes, you can still go through it and have a rough idea of what the paper could look like. And guys, if anyone of you is not able to scan the QR code, we have put out the link to the quiz in the chat as well. You can just click on the link in the chat and attempt the quiz right now.
Okay, so Daksha wants to know, I'm 19 years old and can I get into SMHRD without any prior work experience? So Daksha, only two of our specialization, which is business analytics and infrastructure development management, these require prior work ex. And for IDM, you need work ex only if you're not from engineering or architecture background. And you can apply for our general program, the MBA core. And considering you have a 99 or you're clearing the cutoff.
Okay, Janvi, I see that you're saying English and LR is your strongest sections. Okay, so just like me, quant is your weakest. So personally, I would like to tell you, attempt anywhere between 8 to 10 questions, 8 to 10 questions correctly. Okay, so it's not about just attempting 8 questions and getting some negative marks out of that. And attempt 8 to 10 questions correctly, and the questions you don't know, you're weak at, just let them go. Snap is all about strategy. It's about speed, yes, but it's also about strategy. It's about leaving the bad questions, leaving the questions you're not good at. So anywhere between 8 to 10 good attempts, and don't attempt the rest. And yes, do make sure to maximize the score in LR and VA to compensate for this. Personally, that was my strategy. And guys, if you have any more questions, just keep putting them in chat. We'll be happy to answer you all throughout this quiz until the session ends. So yes, feel free to ask any question you have.
So Siddharth has asked, someone has 23 months of work ex till the required time. Can he be eligible for business analytics? So no, Siddharth. The business analytics specialization requires 24 months of minimum work experience before the time that you join SCMHRD. So that is sadly not negotiable, and 24 months is the minimum required.
Yes, and another thing I see is out of 60, what should be a safe score to convert SCMHRD? So Debolina, there's no such correct or wrong score for Snap. So as you know, Snap 2022 was a bit on the harder side as compared to the previous years. So with just in accordance to that, the cutoffs may go down a bit, the scores might drop, right? So targeting any particular score would not be the right approach. It all depends on how the paper comes at the D-Day, and yes, the scores go up and down basis of that. But percentile wise, anywhere above 97.5 to 98 percentile should be a safe score to get a call from SCMHRD. And then of course, after that, you have to ace your GEPI process and convert that call into a meritless seat. Okay, I hope all of you are able to attempt the quiz. I don't see anyone facing any issues. That's great. Okay, well, I'm really good at VRC and DILR, but I could barely solve 3 to 4 sums in quant. Okay. So Daksha, I think one thing you should take care is maybe you haven't learned enough topics as of now. If at all you're giving the final attempt of Snap, I think you still have time to brush up on a few topics and learn a few topics even. So just pick up a few topics. We already suggested some important topics, right, in the quant section. So if there are any topics from those that you've not done yet, just practice those up really well. I'm sure Jatin sir has taught you these topics really well. So just you can ask him for any doubts, and you can ask us for any doubts you have. We're always available. My team will be putting in the links to our socials. You can always ask any doubts you have to us or Jatin sir or anyone. Yes, just learn some new topics, and that will make sure that you'll increase the score a bit, because 3 to 4 is not a lot of attempts. So as I said, if quant is a weaker section, but still you should attempt around 8 at least to make sure that you're scoring at least a bit in quant, because obviously even if it's a weaker section, you have to have some part of your score coming from it, right? Because obviously you're not going to get 25 out of 25 in LR and 15 on 15 in general English. Okay, any tips for G group exercise? How was your experience? So Tarun, yes, group exercise is something it's not like a GD. It's a bit different. So this is something where your teamwork skills are put to the test. So personally, my GE experience was really fun. It wasn't very intense. It was just making sure that I work very well with my team. I collaborate well with my team, and have to get to a common output basically, and just basically showing your rationale and also being accepting towards others' opinion. All this is actually put to the test in your GE. So yes, it's not very stressful. It's very chill. It's very relaxed. But yes, be sure to be a good team worker and work collaboratively. Mehak, Chidanan, any GE tips you would like to give the students?
So yeah, I would like to share my experience when I was giving my GE. So I had 8 members in the panel, and we were shown a few pictures, and we were asked to conclude or just converse what exactly we are seeing and what is the problem statement. And we are all given 1 minute of time. Then after that, we were allowed to discuss among ourselves and come to a common conclusion what would be the solution. So here our judgment was based on how we are collaborating with others, how good listeners we are, and how we are accepting of others. Unlike GDs where you have to take turn and like take charge in the discussion, this was very well mannered and well put. So yeah, you need to be more collaborative in here to be very well, to be a well performer. Yeah, over to you, Mac.
Yeah, so I think one tip that I'd like to give is that do not miss any chance to give in an entry, and do not miss any chance to actually take an initiative, right? So if you are getting a chance to start the GD or GE, and if you're getting a chance to maybe conclude the group exercise, so you should definitely take that, and you should make your members secondly feel inclusive, that everybody's point is heard and you're not just completely speaking about just your point, because that makes everybody feel that yeah, their point is also being considered. And that is I think one of the very important things that we most of the times forget in a group exercise, that all of the people that are present there need to or want to show what they think, what is their opinion on a given topic or a given exercise, and hence you should try to make everybody feeling inclusive um about, and also keep your point at the same time. So yeah, that is something that I give.
Thank you so much, Mac. Those were great insights. So guys, just 3 more minutes remaining on your quiz. So I think if you're done with your quiz, you can always submit it right now, because we're using your timestamp as a tiebreaker. So if there's a tie between two scores, whoever has submitted the answers first is going to get the prize. Okay, some more questions in the chat. Let's check. Any sectional cutoff? No sectional cutoff. Samir, there's no sectional cutoff in SNAP. Okay, I think no more questions. All the questions have been answered. That's great. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So yes, we have put in all our links to our socials. Just follow us. And yes, one more important tip for your GE would be that GE and your PI is basically you should be up to date with your current affairs, right? So we, as the admissions and PR team, we run a campaign called the APR Weekly. So as a part of this campaign, what we do is we accumulate all the news from India and around the world through the week, and we give you top 6 headlines every Sunday. So this is something we post on all our socials. You should definitely head over to our socials, follow us right now, and keep a track. Just read it once. It's just once a week, right? It's really good to keep your current affairs up to date, and that will obviously help you in all your PI processes for any B school. Somik says hello. Hi, Somik. Good evening. Hope your SNAP prep is going great. Okay, last 1.5 minutes, guys. I'm starting to receive responses already. Great. Some of you are really quick. So Chidanand, could you please share with the students how you used to go about your paper? Which section would you attempt first? What was your strategy?
So yeah, for me, the VA was the most preferred, and I used to go through the VA first. And for my first strategy was to go through all the questions, like which are the questions I should attempt and which are the ones I can score more. So I would go through all the questions and select all the questions I can do first. Then I would go first to the VA, then LR, then quants. As quants was not one of my strongest suit, I used to prefer to do it in the last. But yeah, that was my strategy.
Okay, thank you so much, Danand. Right, so that's time up for the quiz, guys. So I'll just give you 10 more seconds to quickly submit, and we'll be closing the form after that. So yes, I've received plenty of responses. Great, that's a very good response I'm getting. Okay, I think we should move on now. Yes, so you've heard enough about SNAP, our tips. So we'll tell you something about our college now, and we would like to tell you why SCMHRD would be the perfect B school for you. So to take you through this, I would invite Chidanand to please take it over from me. Chidanand?
Right. Thank you, Tushar.
Yes.
So now that we have gone through at length with the SNAP exam, let's see what lies beyond SNAP exam. So SMHRD. So SMHRD comes among the top 5 B schools around the world who have been accorded with the prestigious AACSB accreditations, and it is one of the biggest body at an international level which oversees the quality of education B school provide, and it is recognized by all the industries around the world. So yeah, when you go out there and considering you have been passed out from a college with AACSB tag, it really gives you an edge. And then we also have many student exchange programs, which gives you opportunity to go abroad and interact with different people. And, coming to various student-led committees we have on campus. Yeah, our campus is really very student-driven, and we, Mehak, Tushar, and me, we are from the admissions and PR committee. We run all the PR activities on our social media, and even this event is totally done by us. So when you come to an MBA school, it's not about all the academics you do. It's about what else you learn and how you develop yourself personally. So yeah, it really gives you an edge when you go out in the market and be as a manager. So, and coming to the last point, we have ranked 4th in the Unstop D2C rankings in the Unstop case competitions. So one of the most important things you have in after coming to MBAs, it's the case competition. As I mentioned earlier, that it's not about just the academics you do in the college. It's about how you develop yourself. So once you are in the market as a manager, you are expected to solve problems, whatever happening in the company, and that's something you know and learn while doing these case competitions. And at SMHRD, you get plenty of opportunities to do these case competition, and there are a lot of help and guidance you get throughout this process. So yeah, that's something good about our college. Over to the next slide.
Okay, Chaitanya, just let me take up a few questions before they get piled up, right? So there's Somik asking, how does the gap year affect in PI? So yes, since you have a gap year, Somik, it is something that the interviewer's attention will be drawn to naturally. And there might be a question, there'll definitely be a question based on this, what were you doing this year? So it's not a negative impact on your CV, but you have to just be very good at justifying what you did during this year and how you achieved personal growth in that 1 year or 1.5 years or whatever gap you had. So yes, there's no problem in having a gap year as long as you're able to really justify what you did in that time and what have you gained from basically your gap year. Okay, and Daksha is asking, how does the interview process work for someone who has anxiety? So Daksha, good news for you. We don't have a personal interview here at SCMHRD. We have a personal interaction. So a personal interaction is different from a personal interview in a way that there's no stress under which the candidate is put. So it's a very chill conversation between you and the panelist. So the panelist basically wants to know who you are as a person, what are your values, how well you fit into the culture of SCMHRD. So there'll be a lot of questions in which you'll be asked to, sell yourself, but not in a way that you have pressure put on you. It will be a really chill conversation. You have to just drive the interaction in a way that, in a way that you really know, for example, if you've done a particular internship and you can really speak well on it, right? So please drive the interview or the interaction towards that internship that you did, and be very fluent and very apt at selling yourself. And yes, you will be very good to go in the personal interaction. There's no need of any anxiety. All the best. Okay, I think you can continue now, Chaitanya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tushar. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so once you're done with the SNAP, what is the process to get into the SMHRD? So here, the division of the weightage of marks, we have 50% weightage for the SNAP exam, then 10% for the group exercise. And unlike last year, we had VAT exam, and that has been removed this year. And the weightage has been shifted to personal interaction. As mentioned earlier by Tushar, the personal interaction is not like the usual personal interview. It's more about knowing yourself. So how you can ace this personal interaction is being more aware of yourself. Okay, so if you have some experience during your interviews or your internships and your work experience, you can share those experiences and what you learned and what challenges you face. These are something which interests the panelists, and this can really make you sound more interesting and show yourself being a progressive person who is eager to learn. Yeah, and once you're done with the group exercise and personal interaction, you wait for the SMHRD merit list. Okay, over to the next slide, please. Yeah, so now coming to the fun part, our placements. So here are the placement records for summer placement records for MBA core. We have for 22 to 24 batch. As you can see, we had the highest placement at 4.4 lakhs, and it was one of the highest in our all sister colleges. And yes, we will show you the final placement records with 67.6 lakhs being the highest international placement, along with 35.02 lakhs being the highest domestic placement. And we also have the average of 23.7 lakhs. Yeah, moving forward. Yeah, this is the placement records to BA summer placements. Here we had the highest placement of 33.6 lakhs. And I would like to draw your attention to the left bottom screen. the increase of average performance from last year is 38.53%. Yeah. So you can see how much scope and how potential we have as a college to develop the students and to increase our averages. Okay. So coming to the next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the one for infrastructure development management. And it's a very niche course, and we have the highest CTC being 27 lakhs for our 21 to 23 batch, and average being 16.1 lakhs. Yeah. So come to the next slide. So yeah, guys, so please drop down your messages. Can you find any of your favorite recruiters right here? I would like to see some of them in the chat, please. So I can see mine. I really love Helpy. We have GSK and we have TDS Credit. Mehak, Tushar, would you like to add on to that?
Yes, guys. So please put in your dream companies. Does any of you see your dream company here? I can certainly see a lot of mine. But yes, I would definitely like to know from all of you, what are your dream companies? And if or not, you can see them on your screen. Obviously, this is not a comprehensive list. We have tons of more recruiters who are not mentioned here. But due to the positive space, we could only mention these many. Okay, Adit says Bain and Company. Great, Adit. Okay, a question I saw here was that where can we get the document? So we will send the document out. I hope you have attempted the quiz. We have got your email ID if you have done so, and we'll be mailing the document out to you. So yes, be assured about that. The document will reach you soon. Okay, Jitendra says Microsoft. Great.
Yeah,
amazing.
I love Microsoft as well.
Great, Chidanand. EY, great. So as you can see, guys, be it any specialization, for example, for finance, you have Citibank coming on campus, you have JP Morgan and Chase coming on campus, you have ICICI Bank, and yes, tons of companies like Google, Amazon, Bosch, Barclays, Bajaj, Cipla, the list goes on. So yes, when it comes to placements and getting placed in your dream company, SCMHRD has got you covered. All you have to do right now is basically focus on SNAP, focus on December, which is basically going to be the SNAP month. And yes, get the best score. The best of the 3 scores will be considered from your SNAP. And yes, the future has good things in store for you if you convert your call from SCMHRD.
All right. So talking about the clubs and committees we have at SMHRD, as I've mentioned earlier, that we are totally student-driven campus, and these are the few committees, all of our committees who drives our campuses. So we have the CRT committee, which drives the placement in our college. Then we have the alumni relation team, which handles the pool of 6,500 plus alumni network we have. And yes, admissions PR. We are from the admissions in PR, and we run the PR and all the admission process here as well. And we have the management committee, which helps you to through the SIP and the final placement process. I can still remember when I first joined the college, and during our first month, we were going through a lot of mock interviews, mock GDs, and we are going through a lot of classes just to prepare us for our SIP processes, which is very helpful and which really gives you an edge when you are coming from a fresher background. Yeah. And also we have a guest lecture team. We recently had a lot of lectures, and I would really like to thank the guest lecture team here. And our infrastructure committee has a strong ties with PMI, as I mentioned earlier. So all of those guys who are still looking for a project management, additional course in project management, you can have that here. Okay, moving forward. So yeah, so one of my favorite slides here, bringing a little bit of our campus to you. And here on the top left, you can see it's our auditorium. And then we have a little bit of a sports area where my favorite place is the TT. We love to do the TT playing. And we have an academic block. And Simbi Eats, it's one point where we meet at the nights after a long day of work and doing a lot of case competition and all the assignments. The Nescafe Cafe, there we have our Maggie and our little iced teas, right, Tushar? Okay.
Yes, Chidanand. Obviously, after a long day of work and academics and assignments, obviously it's by the time you're done for the day, it'll be around 2 to 3 a.m. at night. Yes, it's not a great motivation to come to a B school, but you'll get the hang of it, guys, and it's going to be fun. So yes, Nescafe is where we go late at night to have a bit of coffee, have a bit of iced tea, some Maggie, obviously to fuel us up to have that motivation to come again next day and continue doing the same.
Okay, so while we are having our academics and all the fun with the Maggie and all, yes, we do have our fitness regime as well. We have our swimming pool, the gym, and our juice center as well. And Tushar, being the fitness enthusiast among ourselves, would you like to add on to that?
Yes, guys, the gym is great at SCMHRD. It's open 7 days a week. It's very well maintained. It's very clean. And yes, it's open even on Sundays. So yes, all you fitness enthusiasts, you're welcome at SCMHRD. It's going to be a great place for all of you.
Okay. So these are the few events and campaigns we do on our social media channel, and I would like to you to follow us on our social media channel. These might be really helpful for you guys. So we recently had our Rookie 8.0. It's a month-long event where we have weekly quizzes, daily quizzes on a week basis, and we have our weekly winners as well. And then we have our quantum bounce from the strategy 3.0. We had 2 sessions, especially for the business analytics and infrastructure development specializations. We had a case competitions, which were also resulted in having a lot of gifts for you guys. And our ongoing events, we have MBA Jam and APR Weekly, where we'll be sharing a lot of news and latest updates from all around the world, which will be really helpful for your GE and PI process. When you drop some digits and some news facts from a daily basis, it really helps you and gives you a real edge over other people. So yeah, that's something you should look forward to. And we have stress buster stories and 99 club percentilers. So here, the 99 percentile for our college, they share their tips and tricks, like how you can have, how you can be better and how you can follow their strategies and do better while doing your exams. And we know while you are having your exams right now and you're already done with one of your MBA exam, you might be under very much stress. So stress buster stories are one of those where you will have a little break and you might feel a little relief. Okay, Mac, would you like to add?
Yeah, sure. So I think even when it was my time as an aspirant, and I was very much active because people are of our age are very much active on social media, and I think one of the best thing that social media offers right now is that it's not just a way so that we can pass our time, it also offers us a lot of educational content, right? And something that really helped me during my GEPI process was APR Weekly, because I'm not someone who was very much keen on learning or actually reading newspapers. And if I got something that, yeah, okay, national and international news was concise and given to me in one single post, then that really helped me because during these exam preparation days as well, you do not have a lot of time to go through the newspapers, and someone who was also working at that point of time. And hence, this is something that really helped me. And I think it can help you guys as well. So please look on to that as well.
Yes, thank you, Mehak. So as the admissions team, our motive here is to basically smoothen out your journey from being an aspirant to being a student at SCMHRD. So our campaigns like the Formula of the Week, Logical Amethyst, Word Up, we cover questions and formulas from all the 3 sections of SNAP. So we've been hosting these events for a couple of months on our socials. The link to the socials have been put in the chat again by my team. So please follow us, guys, and just go through the posts we have posted in the last couple of months. It'll be a good last-minute revision for you in addition to the ready reckoner that we're already providing. So yes, and obviously, if you have any more doubts, we are always ready to answer you. You can always reach out to our social media handles, and yes, we can, answer all your queries. So yes, if you have any more queries, please put them in the chat. We're here to answer you. And then towards the end, we'll be obviously announcing the winners of the quiz that we conducted. So yes, if you have any more questions, please feel free to ping them in the chat. Okay, Chidanand, maybe in the meantime, we can announce the winners. I don't see any questions as of now.
Okay, so I think I'll do the honors. On the second, we have Mihir Sinha. Congrats, Mihir. And on the first prize, we have Rajneesh. Okay, congratulations, guys. You have won the quiz.
Great, congratulations, guys. And the very interesting fact is that both of you have scored exactly the same. That's great. So basically, first place triumphed over second place by virtue of being the first one to answer it. So this shows that it's very important to be very quick and snap when you solve the questions. Yes, so speed and accuracy, remember, guys, and you never sacrifice one for the other in snap. Okay, I think there are no more questions, guys. Jatin sir, anything you would like to ask us?
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. There's still some questions coming in. So
Yes,
we'll
yes.
start with you guys. Going to take like 2 more minutes and then
Yeah, definitely, sir.
wrap it up. Yeah. Actually,
So
take as much time as you need. And
Yes,
then,
yes, sir.
then we'll
As
wrap.
long as your students are asking questions, we're here for them.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go for it.
Yes, Mihir, I think it was you. Mihir Sinaraj was the name, I think. Yes. Your voucher will be reaching you in a few days' time. So stay put, stay tuned. How's life at SCMHRD? So yes, a typical day at SCMHRD would look like it'll start with your academics early in the morning around 9 o'clock. You'll be in your lectures until around 4 or 6 p.m. in the evening. Then obviously, if you're part of any committee, you'll have tons of committee work to take care of, where obviously you get to learn a lot. You get to learn how to work in teams, how to work towards a common objective as a team. So this is something that puts you in good stead to actually face the corporate world once you graduate from an MBA. And yes, that is the ultimate goal of doing an MBA, right? Being ready for the corporate world. And obviously there are assignments, and then there are exams that come every now and then. There are there might be weekly class tests. So basically it's all about how well you juggle everything and how well you're able to manage everything and, still do well at everything. At the start, personally, I felt it was a bit overwhelming. For the first couple of weeks or 3 weeks, I felt it was a bit overwhelming because I did not have any free time whatsoever at the start. But then, yes, as time goes on, you start to enjoy the process and you realize that all of this is happening for a reason, and you are, increasing your efficiency and you're growing as a person. So yes, that is the goal ultimately, right? And that is something
just
that
adding on to that, like
yes,
how
please, Siddharth.
how you're juggling with all those things and how precisely you're managing all these things eventually makes you a good manager. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that's very well
also
said.
spending hours and hours at Urban Kutta. That's a very important.
Not hours, sir. Maybe an hour or two. Not hours, definitely. We don't have that much of time.
Just pulling your leg.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir. By the way, the momos at Urban Kutta are great. So, sir, if you would be visiting our campus, I would definitely urge you to have a plate of momos. He's very good at making that. Yeah.
Definitely. Looking forward to that one day.
Sir, I'm giving mocks and scoring 35 to 40. So what do I do to improve above 45? So Sai Krishna, I think it depends on how much time you have and which attempts of SNAP you're giving. So if you are giving the last attempt of SNAP, I would recommend you, as I said, for the first few days until SNAP 1, you could just solve a few mocks and try to get a hang of the speed and how you manage your time. And then after you give your SNAP, you might feel that you had some weak topics, some strong topics. Start brushing up on those topics. And yes, you can definitely, I think 40 is a great score already. It's you're in a position to score really well in SNAP. But yes, if you're aiming to score above 45, you can pick up a few topics that you're weak at. So after SNAP 1, maybe you'll realize that there's a particular topic you're a bit weak at. Pick that up, revise it, and then give mocks and analyze your mocks. Analyze your mocks very well. And as I said, we'll be sharing the Ready Rakhna compendium with you. Be very thorough with that compendium. We have put in solved examples from all the sections of SNAP. We've put in formulas. We've put in a lot of synonyms, antonyms, idioms, phrases, and yes, the 2 mocks at the end that we've put together ourselves. So that's definitely going to add some value to all of you, and I'm sure it will show some value in your SNAP. Raj didn't expect that. Okay, great.
Okay. Vocabulary and general English is my weak section. Any particular tips for that? Okay, so I think one thing with respect to vocabulary and general English is, for general English, as even we said in the previous tips, that you should know the concepts that are there. So, for example, you should know the figures of speech, the different parts of speech, the tenses. All of this must be known. But apart from that, what vocabulary is that you cannot actually learn all the words that are there in the English dictionary, right? That is practically and humanly not possible. So, what one thing I used to do is, for going for vocabulary questions like synonyms or antonyms, or for example, word meanings, is try to identify the tone of the word. So, you would have all heard of prefixes and suffixes, right? So, there's a specific prefix or a suffix that makes a word positive or negative. For example, if you take the word familiarize, right? If you add the prefix un, that is unfamiliarize is a negative word and familiarize is a positive word. So if you use that logic, sometimes you're able to guess the tone of the word, basis which you can actually understand the synonym or the antonym associated with that. And obviously, if that is not there, then if the word is being used in a particular sentence, then you can try to judge the context of the word and then come on with the solution with respect to that. So that is my tip on vocabulary specific.
Oh, Meg, that's a great tip. So I see your question asking how to tackle questions on blood relations. So personally, I had very fixed symbols on how I used to represent relationships and the gender of a person. So for every male, I used to mark it in a square, and every female, I used to mark it in a circle. And if A is married to B, I would interconnect them with a double line. And if it's not married, it's a brother-sister relationship, I would use a single line. So form a strategy like this yourself. And as soon as you get a blood relations question, just start start with your paper. Don't start and think. Don't sit and think. Just use your pen and paper and start writing it down and prepare a chart. And I think that puts you in a very good position to answer the question in under a minute, which is basically what is expected of you in SNAP.
I think one thing I'd like to add on to here is that a lot of people assume a lot of things in blood relations with specific to the gender. For example, if there's a name given to you, Rahul, and it is something that is associated with a male, that it's a male's name, right? However, specifically in blood relations questions, you're not supposed to assume that any name is associated with a male or a female till the time it's actually explicitly given to you that the person is a son or a daughter or something or the other. Because that then makes you make mistakes in the question, and then that leads to inaccuracy. So do not assume that a specific name is associated with a specific gender. As Tushar was adding, I'd like to wanted to say that as well.
Great. Thank you, Mac. So Sai Krishna, great. Good to know that you've applied for all 3 attempts. That's amazing. Mohit uses the same trick in his blood relations. Great, Mohit. Good to know. I think everything has been taught to you already at 2 IIM. Amazing. Not much help needed from us. Great, Jatin sir.
I didn't teach them LR, so I'm not going to take credit for that. And there's
Okay.
external audience as well.
I think,
so
sir, you're
anyway.
way too humble. You never take any credit, sir. But
No.
there's definitely something to show, right? Obviously.
Well, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take the credit. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. I think we have no more questions, sir. Maybe we can end it. Okay, we have another question. Any tips on improving clocks and calendars? So clocks and calendars, as Mahek said, it's almost always formula based. So basically, just be very thorough with all your formulas. As she said, 0 days and things like that. And you just have to be very good with the formulas, the questions. There's a very definite way on how to go about these questions. There is no scope for, thinking and maybe, manufacturing an answer. It's very straightforward. You have to just know which formula to apply where, and have your dates and things very well versed with for your calendars questions. And you'll be in a very good position to answer all the questions from clocks and calendars. It's one of the scoring areas of LR, guys. So yes, make sure to always do these questions really well. There might be a harder question. For example, input-output was a type of question which always took me a lot of time, and I personally felt that question was put there to just eat up your time. So there's no input-output question that can be solved under 2 minutes, at least, however good you may be. So I would recommend you, and as I said, Chidanand's strategy, he used to always go about the SNAP paper in rounds. So definitely do not attempt the input-output question in the first round. Save it for the last. And when you know there are, not many questions more that you can do, and this is a question that is left, do go about it, because it's not hard. It's relatively easy. It's solvable, but it's very time-consuming. And that is something you should be very wary about while giving your SNAP. Just know which question to leave when and which to attempt when. And that itself, guarantees that you'll score better than what you're doing right now. Okay. Sir, I'm good at arithmetic, but not good at algebra and geometry. And anyway, I'm scoring 10 in quant. So it's better to perfectly get 10 and focus. Yes, Sai Krishna, since you're giving all 3 attempts, I would say that at least for SNAP 1, this should be your strategy. Just stick with what you know already. There's just 4 days, right? So just give mocks. And as I said, perfect your strong areas. So as I think for you, verbal and your LR will be your stronger areas. So make sure that you brush up on these topics very well, and you're basically playing on your strengths, as I said a couple of times before, actually. Play on your strengths and don't learn anything new for now. And maybe after SNAP 1, you'll come home and you'll think that, okay, if I had learned this topic in quant, maybe I would be able to solve another question or 2. So that's the time to actually pick up that question, since you have another 7 days before your SNAP 2, right? So for now, I would recommend you not to learn anything new. Just stick to what you know already. Okay, any more questions, guys?
So I would just like to mention, who is saying, I have Rajesh sir and Jatin sir classes, and they are very helpful. So yes, sir, it's very evident how your teachings are helping these students.
Thank you.
Yes,
All
and
right, I
students, if
think,
you have any, we have. I
sorry,
think
Tushar, go ahead. No, go ahead. We have,
yes, sir,
we have time. No
just a
worries.
finishing note that if you have any more questions that you can't find your questions now, but maybe tomorrow when you're studying for your studies, you'll face any questions. You can see the QR code on the screen. We are always happy to answer all your questions, guys. So make sure to just put in your questions, DM us on Instagram. We're always there to help you guys. That's our job. So yes, definitely, we'll be happy to help you. Over to you, sir.
Right. Any idea about SIMC cutoff? This is an SCMHRD session, so they have no idea about SIMC cutoff.
Yes, that,
but anyway,
that depends from
cutoffs,
institution to institution.
correct,
right?
correct. And cutoffs, as Tushar said earlier, I completely agree with him. They vary every year. Okay. And listen to these folks. These folks scored 99, they're all 99 percentiles, right? Please don't fixate too much on cutoffs. You saw what happened in CAT with quant, right? Cutoffs can vary according to the complexity of the exam. So don't fixate too much on it. Just go into the exam with the objective of maximizing your attempts with good accuracy, right? That's the best strategy you can take up. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, folks. I think always a pleasure to have you folks with us. I think it's always a great session when SCMHRD comes on board. They've done multiple sessions for us, and this is like the last session for this series. Of course, we'll have them back for a group discussion and personal interview sessions as well. But thank you, everyone. Thanks for taking out the time. I know you folks are very busy with your course, so really appreciate you taking out the time to mentor our students. And I think there were a lot of interesting questions. So, folks, on YouTube, I hope you found it useful. You have their contact details. Please make the most of it. Get in touch with them. They're very friendly, very helpful. Do give the mock. Give as many mocks as possible for SNAP. And all the best for SNAP, right? I know the answer key was out today. So some of you are happy, some of you are sad, some of you are confused, but SNAP is a very different exam from CAT. So your performance in CAT has no bearing on your performance in SNAP, right? So it's a completely different exam. Start with a fresh slate and attack it, right? All the best. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Very well said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. As
All
always.
the best to all aspirants for their paper.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
And we hope to see most of you at SCMHRD next year, if not all of you.
Yes.
All the best, guys.
Fingers crossed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.